Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. This is your host, Idjester. I'm going to be putting a few videos out for this game called Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa. This game was designed by VR Designs and, of course, being published by Matrix Games and Slytherin. So you can check out their websites to find out more information about this game. So, of course, Operation Barbarossa was the grand campaign of the German invasion into Russia in 1941. Of course, one of the most important and decisive reasons for the outcome of World War II. And of course, being a war game, that means there's a lot of super cool things about it. So if you have not heard about this game, or maybe you've watched it, or maybe you've dabbled a little bit and tried to figure things out, what I'm going to be doing is presenting with you a view from a wargamer that is not really ever involved in playing grand campaign type games. I do mostly squad-based games, ASL type stuff where we don't have to worry about supplies, we don't have to worry about logistics and things like that. But the reason I am interested in Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa is it really brings a unique and different twist to grand campaigns, and we're going to be looking at that. And what I hope to do is just present to you a view of this game through the eyes of someone that is interested in such a game without having to really micromanage and try to learn and figure things out. And that's probably where Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa's strongest points is that it is very easy to get into and understand and learn, and it can be as complex and as deep and as detailed as you want to spend your time to look at. So let's go ahead and get it started, loaded up, and take a look at some of the things that make Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa a little bit different than a lot of the other grand strategy games out there. So as this game loads up here, I'm just going to mention that this isn't going to be a tutorial series. This isn't going to be a let's play. This is going to be me just kind of describing to you the kind of the game concepts, the theories and strategies and things to think about kind of behind the scenes to find out if you might be interested in playing this game. So of course here is our setup. Of course there is only one campaign in this game, a little bit different than a lot of other games out there, war games in general. This has only got one campaign and one campaign only, but that does not mean there's not a lot of replayability, and you're going to see why. There is a super ton of replayability for this one campaign, because Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa adds a layer, almost like an RPG layer element to things, and we're going to talk about that once we get the game loaded. But let's talk about just a few of the options here. You can see there's, I think when a lot of players are interested in different war games or interested in checking out some more detailed and complex games, and they see screens like this, they think that things, oh my gosh, it's way too complex, way too much information, way too much to hassle with, too much to deal with, I don't understand everything, what does it do? Well, one thing I will mention that the developers has done a great job is anytime you don't know anything, they have tutorial messages pop up, and it gives you not just the information, but it tells you easily what exactly you're looking at there, which makes the game very, enjoyable to understand. It's not as complex as it looks when you see all these different options and different buttons and such. So I'm just going to leave everything basically on the default. There's lots of different options here, as you can see. We're going to be playing as Germany and the AI for the Soviet Union. You can play this multiplayer. Of course, you can use the play by email system, so you can play through this with the through email. I'm just going to leave the difficulty on normal, and of course keep the speed on normal as well. Kind of gives you an overview of the map, and of course, like everything in this game, lots and lots of details. But I should say, right off the bat, this is one of the strengths of Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa, is that you can literally just bypass every single thing and just get on to the game if that's what you're interested in doing. But you can also spend tons and tons of time delving into it, and that's what makes it interesting, is because it's very easy to understand and get into and play, but it also gives you lots and lots of details to make yourself better, to give you different ideas and strategies, and to think about things. As you can see here, just a kind of an overview about, if you turn decisions off, is it going to make it easier or harder for you? If you turn pilots off, how is that going to affect the game? As I mentioned, there's only one campaign here, but this campaign can be played over and over and over again because of a lot of the different, what I'm going to be calling the RPG elements of this game. And we're going to look at that once we get into the game a little bit more. But you can see, just by turning on and off a few things, it's going to change how the game plays. So let's go ahead and load up the scenario here and take a quick introductory view of it. Like I said, I'm planning on doing a couple of videos on this. Again, this isn't a tutorial on how to play. This isn't a tutorial, a let's play if you're watching me play through the game. This is going to be a look at how kind of the things that separate Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa, what it does differently, and how it handles different things. And then we'll get a little bit of gameplay in, and then after a couple videos, I'll even host a live stream. If you're interested, you guys can come and check it out, ask questions, see the game in action, talk to other players that are there in the live stream, and we'll have a good time checking it out. So as you can see, Germany, game is in progress. Please start turn. So we're going to start the turn, and you notice first thing that comes up is a pre-start turn. So basically nothing's going to happen in this turn other than you're going to be making some decisions. So the first thing I should mention, as I've talked about previously, that the game system has a really good, the designers have done a great job. Entrenchment, morale, everything you can see here, readiness, integrity. If you're not sure what anything is, all you have to do is mouse over it, and it gives you all the information. In fact, sometimes it can give you so much information, it can make you so helpful. But I feel that when a lot of people, or a lot of players out there, wargamers, and they see something complex with tons and tons of counters and tons of details on here, and just buttons everywhere, and it's like, oh, I don't have time to learn this. I don't really have time to try to spend hundreds of hours trying to figure out the system and everything. And I will tell you right off the bat, is again, I'm not a operational wargamer. I'm more of a squad-based tactical wargamer. But this game has really captured the essence of the ease of wargaming, and also added some of its own flair and uniqueness to the game. And we're going to look at that here in the first episode. But I should mention, number one is they have a wonderful tutorial video series that you can watch. If you want to just learn and find out how to play the game, all you have to do is watch these 12 videos here, and they're only 3 or 4 minutes a piece, kind of going over the general, the general principles and the general details about how things operate and how to do certain things. And if you watch these 12 videos, you will be prepared to get right into this game without a problem. In fact, that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm not going to worry about how well I do. I'm not going to worry about learning the game. I'm not going to learn or worry about having to try to complete the objectives. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm just going to sit here and have fun and play, because there's going to be a lot of interesting things that are going to be happening during this. Alright, so I've been talking a little bit about how Decisive Campaigns Barbarossa is different than a lot of the other war games out there with counters and such. And the first thing is you have to realize, if you're looking at this game, is that you aren't just a player sitting at a table with a bunch of counters and you're going to be moving counters around. There is a whole another part of this game that has to do with what I'm calling the RPG elements, because it seems there is a lot of interaction, role-playing, and you as the player, since we were playing the Germans, we aren't just a player pushing counters around on a map here. We are actually taking the position of Field Marshal Franz Halder, the operational commander of the entire East Front. That is who we are. That person is us. Okay, we are assuming his position in the German army. And you say, well, what do you mean? Well, how does that even come into play or anything? Okay, so you're the German Field Marshal Commander, big deal. What does that mean? Well, it is actually a big deal because of what I was talking about earlier, and how this game has a whole nother element associated with it, what I'm calling the RPG elements, in that you can see the very first thing that we get here that actually comes on the front page there is the Führer has requested our presence in Berlin in order to agree upon the strategy for Operation Barbarossa. Transportation will be provided to you at no expense, but you must be present and correct at the Reichs-Chancellery at 10 a.m. Monday morning. So yes, as the German field commander of the East Front, we have to report into Adolf Hitler. We have to go and talk to him right off the bat about what we want to do with Operation Barbarossa. We don't get to just decide this ourselves. We aren't just a player pushing counters around. We don't get to decide this information. Of course, we get to decide it as we play the game, but our strategy will be dictated by how we will proceed with our very important decisions. Now, as I mentioned, we are Field Marshal Franz Halder, the operational commander. If you play the Russians in this game, you are Joseph Stalin. That is you. That is you. You are the supreme commander of the Russians. So you play your position, because you are the supreme commander. Your country, your side of this game plays totally different, because you have exact rule over any decisions that happen. You get to decide how everything proceeds. You decide what is the most important objective to secure. You get to make decisions. You don't have as many decisions, and you don't, but you have every decision you make. Therefore, is very, very important. And there's more to that as well. So you can see that this game, as I mentioned, it only has one grand campaign, obviously Operation Barbarossa, but you can play this multiple times, because of the decisions you're going to have to make are going to be different every time. The units, your relationships with other people, everything is going to be slightly different in what happens. So we're going to go ahead, and the first thing we're going to do, we're going to Berlin to meet with Adolf Hitler to make a decision. So you can see, this is kind of our little screen here. You can see we have 16 pp, and that stands for political points. And we're going to use these political points for ourselves to do certain things in the German army. And you can see that our number one objective down here is we have three different things we can choose. We can either choose to support Hitler. We can go to this meeting where, you know, Adolf Hitler has, I'm sure you've all seen the pictures of Adolf Hitler standing there over the maps and has all of his generals gathered around and they're talking and discussing things. This is the meeting that we are actually going to, and we're going to talk to him. And we can come out of that meeting and we can support whatever decision he wants. You can see it costs us 0 political points. And we can just let Adolf Hitler decide what we should do. And there are benefits and disadvantages for each of those. If we look at some of our report bundles, again, lots and lots of details. So, you know, it talks a little bit there, okay, and here, if we choose to support Hitler, this is going to tell us what we're going to get out of this. If we decide on the second option, which, happens to be Moscow or bust, we can find out what's going to happen with this. And lastly, if we decide to go with the last decision, where basically we say, Adolf Hitler, we think we can do this. You just stay out of it. Just let us do our thing, and we'll be fine. Give us the power to make the decisions. And of course, you can find out what exactly is going to happen from this. Of course, if we support Adolf Hitler, the Führer is going to be very happy with us because, of course, we're agreeing with him. We're saying, yep, whatever you want to do, that's fine. We agree with it. You're good. And we're going to get some bonuses. The Führer is going to like us and all kinds of good things. If we tell him Moscow or bus, again, it's kind of a neutral decision. We're not supporting Adolf Hitler as much, but we're kind of telling them, I think this is where we should go, is Moscow. And the Führer will be happy with your decision, but you're not supporting him. You're kind of making a decision, so he's not as happy. And of course, the last decision is us telling Adolf Hitler, even though you're in charge, we think we can do a better job without you, so let us do it. And of course, he's not going to be happy with us. And of course, he's going to be very close watch over us. So if we make any mistakes whatsoever, he's going to start basically calling us back to Berlin for another meeting that will not make us very happy. So, of course, if you wanted to play a little bit easier, you could support Adolf Hitler because we're going to be getting a good relationship with Adolf Hitler right off the bat, and of course, getting some other goodies as well. This is kind of a neutral decision. It's not good. It's not bad. But it'll make the game a little bit harder. And of course, if you declare military independence, it's going to make it even that much more harder for you to get in and complete your objectives. So what we're going to do is we're going to support Adolf Hitler, and we're going to make this decision and see what he has to what he decides on. Actually, before we do that, I should at least go over. There are 3 main objectives. Of course, Leningrad to the north. That is one of the objectives. The second objective, of course, is Moscow here in the center. And of course, our last objective is down in the south, which is Rostov. So those are the 3 main objectives that we have to we can either decide to go after ourselves, or if we support Hitler, he might demand one of those 3 objectives. So of course, once in time you might play this campaign, and he might tell you to go to Leningrad is your most important objective, And your second most important objective is the headquarters. You must destroy the headquarters. The next time you play it, maybe Rostov might be your number one objective, and your number two objective might be Moscow. Or maybe it might even be Leningrad. So Rostov and Leningrad might be your 1 and 2 objectives. So you can see each game is going to be different just based upon the simple little fact of one decision that we're making. So again, we're going to go summon to Berlin and we're going to make a decision. Now, as I said before, if you just want to delve into this game and just start getting playing and you don't really care about anything, you just want to play the game, watch the tutorial videos, and you just want to get to the action and start fighting things, you absolutely positively can do that. This game is very flexible because any decisions that you don't make, you will delegate those decisions to your underlings, and they will make the decisions for you and pass them on and just let you know what decisions were made. So there you can see there's a lot of very important decisions. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple of these, and we're going to show you just basically how this can turn out to really make the game different. So I just loaded up a game just a little bit ago, and I had for number one objective for Adolf Hitler was the Rostov in the south. His number two objective was the headquarters. His number three objective, I think, was Leningrad, and number four was Moscow. So let's see if it's different this time. We're going to be summoned to there, and we're going to support Adolf Hitler, and we'll support Hitler. So the Führer is mighty pleased. You recognize the wisdom of his approach, and he promised to get you whatever you needed. So the Führer is pleased, so we get a +6 relationship with him. So current relationship is neutral. Again, we can mouse over everything and tells you what does this mean, +6 relationship. Well, it tells you exactly there. So your strategy to support Hitler's plan, we get 70 power points. So he's giving us a lot more power by backing him. Ha ha ha. Let's find out what his objectives are here. So, Hitler Directive number 21 listed all of his advice and upon revealing his strategy, no further discussions will be entered into. So, number one, Leningrad to the north. That is our number one objective. Priority number one, Leningrad in the north. Priority number two is destroying the headquarters. Number three is Rostov in the south. And priority number four is Moscow. So, we've got to, for this game, actually go to Leningrad in the north and try to destroy the army headquarters as bad as we can, and then less priority towards Moscow, the center, and Rostov in the south. So push hard in the north, and of course destroy the army headquarters. So there we go. So now we can do captured oil stockpile. What's that? It's a decision. You can choose to just ignore it, get on to the battle, or you can spend time and really delve into this and figure out what you want to do. So you can see there's all kinds of reports over here to kind of give you a general gist of what's going on with this. But if you want, we can just make a decision on it. So there's three different things. So we can petition Hitler directly. We can basically petition Adolf Hitler. We can say, okay, we need more supplies. We don't care about the West Front. We don't care about the Africa Corps. We want all the oil shipped to the East Front so we can complete our objectives for you. And so we can petition Hitler directly. We have a 60% chance of a good outcome. But you see, it's going to take us 16 political points. Now remember, if we wouldn't have sided with Hitler to begin with, we only started with 16 points. So we could have spent every single point we had by not going with Hitler and just spending our 16 points here. We can petition Hitler's chief of staff. So kind of one of Hitler's underlings. We have a 40% chance of a good outcome. It's going to cost us 8 power points. We can petition the commander of the armed forces, which has a 20% chance of a good outcome. cost 4 power points, or we can just leave it as is. So it's kind of a risk reward. We're going to be spending some political points if we make a decision, and we only have a chance of a good outcome happening. So in this case, let's go ahead and petition Hitler directly and say we want all the oil coming to the east front. A brazen attempt to lobby with the Fuhrer has succeeded. Oil from the stockpiles will be released. 60% chance of good outcome. We got a roll of 20. Excellent. It is estimated this will take 20 days. So we're going to have a lot more oil shipped to the east front by spending those very important political points and trying out different strategies here. But, of course, because we've been over talking to Hitler and talking to him and taking stuff from other field commanders out there, those other field commanders are not going to be very happy with us. So General Yidel is unimpressed. It gives us a relationship of -9 and moves it down to neutral. And von Brunstick is unimpressed. His relationship is -1. Current relationship is neutral. So, of course, the other generals are not impressed. If we had to go and whine to the Führer that we need more oil, why are you going to whine to the Führer? Why couldn't you just do it with what you got? Anywho, so there we go. So we've got 2 decisions done. We've got a few more to go, but I think we'll just leave those for the next video to come here in this series. We're going to look at some more decisions. We'll probably go through these a little bit faster now that you know how they work. Then we have to look at cards and a few other things probably in the next episode. And probably in the 3rd episode we'll get to play a little bit and see how all of our little strategies are playing out. And then once we get done with the 3rd video, let's see if we can schedule a live stream and have everyone jump on board and watch some Operation Barbarossa Decisive Campaigns. So thanks so much for watching. This is your host Idjester signing off.